The gates of Windsor once stood as symbols of absolute protection. Centuries of monarchs have trusted their walls, but for one prince, the fortress now feels more distant than ever. Prince Harry returned to the United Kingdom not long ago, quietly, briefly, and under circumstances far different from the ones he knew growing up. Gone were the motorcades, the tight perimeters managed by British officers, the subtle but thorough security net that once moved invisibly with him. Instead, this time, Harry arrived under a private arrangement. A former working royal, a son of the king, and now, as recent reports reveal, a man at risk. What unfolded over those few days did not make breaking news, at first. But inside the circles that monitor royal safety, it was deeply unsettling. During his time in Britain, Prince Harry had not one, but two close encounters with a known individual labeled by authorities as a fixated person, a stalker, as some would say. The person was able to get dangerously close, twice. This wasn't just an isolated security lapse, it was a revelation. A sharp, flashing symbol of the complex tension now surrounding Harry's place within the institution and how far removed he's become from the protections once guaranteed by royal duty. Welcome to Crownverse, where crown history isn't just about what happened, it's about what's happening now, behind palace gates and in the shadows just beyond them. If you want to stay ahead of the stories that shape monarchy, subscribe now and join us as we unpack the deeper meaning behind the headlines. The facts, as confirmed, are as follows. Prince Harry visited the UK for a brief engagement, attending a public event and staying at a private residence. During that trip, two separate incidents occurred where the same individual, already known to the Fixated Threat Assessment Center, a unit that monitors persons obsessed with public figures, approached locations associated with the prince. On both occasions, the breaches were intercepted not by British police, but by Harry's private security team. No harm came to him, but the proximity was close enough to be deemed serious. And for those familiar with how royals are protected, this raised immediate concerns. When Harry and Meghan stepped back from royal duties in 2020, one of the most controversial and unresolved issues was security. The couple believed they should retain full police protection, especially while visiting the UK. The British government and the Metropolitan Police disagreed. Once they were no longer working royals, that level of taxpayer-funded security was, they said, unjustifiable. Instead, Harry would be responsible for his own arrangements. That decision ignited a legal battle. Prince Harry offered to personally fund police protection, even without burdening the public purse. Still, his request was denied. The matter remains tied up in legal argument, with the Home Office insisting that police protection cannot be bought and that decisions are based on official threat assessments and public interest, not royal status alone. What happened during his latest visit has sharpened the stakes of that battle. In a landscape increasingly unstable, where fame collides with obsession, where social media fuels delusion, and where political discourse often spills into personal animus, the line between attention and threat grows dangerously thin. Fixated individuals are not theoretical. They are real. And Harry, once wrapped in layers of institutional protection, now stands at the edge of a legal gray zone. He is the son of the king. He is sixth in line to the throne. He is a former soldier, a public figure, a high-profile target. Yet when he lands in Heathrow or attends a UK event, his safety is his own to arrange. Some call it fair, others reckless. To understand how jarring this is, consider the system he once relied on. Working royals typically receive full protection coordinated by the Royalty and Specialist Protection Branch of the Metropolitan Police. These officers are trained in threat assessment, surveillance countermeasures, public shielding, and emergency extraction. They travel with the principal. They scout ahead. They know the terrain. Inside private security, no matter how competent, cannot replicate those powers. They cannot carry arms in certain zones. They do not have access to intelligence briefings. They cannot enforce crowd control in public space. In essence, they operate around the protection perimeter, not inside it, which is precisely where Harry now lives. The two stalking incidents, though intercepted, highlighted this gap. That the same individual approached him twice during a short visit underscores how porous the system has become. And had something gone wrong, questions would not have waited. There is irony in all of this. For years, the monarchy has been accused of prioritizing image over protection, tradition over adaptation. But here, the very refusal to adapt, to recognize a hybrid royal's vulnerability, may have created the conditions for risk. And there's another layer. Public sympathy for Harry has always been divided. For some, he is the prodigal prince, brave enough to break free, to tell his truth, to protect his family. For others, he is the wayward son, privileged, ungrateful, disrupting sacred institutions. That divide now bleeds into policy. Security, once a question of need, is now tangled in perception. Should the man who stepped back from duty receive the same protection as those who stayed? Does family connection justify state support? Or does stepping down mean stepping outside the shield? Harry believes the threat is real. His legal filings have stated as much. He has pointed to specific incidents, media intrusion, attempted breaches, stalkers, and public threats. These are not abstract concerns. They are documented. Yet the counterargument remains that security is not a commodity, that allowing individuals to pay for state protection could set a dangerous precedent, turning policing into a privilege. Caught between these arguments is a man and a family moving in dangerous spaces without clear lines. One cannot help but reflect on the history. Prince Harry has lived through trauma. His mother's death in 1997, pursued by paparazzi in Paris, is not just a memory. It is the foundation of his worldview. To him, visibility and risk are inseparable. Exposure is danger. Fame is a target. And now, as he re-enters British soil for official or private visits, that danger feels uncomfortably close again. What remains unspoken is how the royal family itself processes these risks. Is there coordination? Is there silent support, even as public protection is denied? Or has the institution truly closed the circle, leaving one of its own outside? In moments like this, monarchy reveals its paradoxes. It is at once familial and constitutional, at once emotional and procedural. Prince Harry is still the son of the king, still a royal by blood, yet in practice he is treated as a guest, and guests must bring their own guard. The stalker, whose name has not been publicly released, was intercepted. But what if they hadn't been? What if next time the breach is closer? What if the next visitor is not fixated but fanatical? These are questions the palace may not want to face, but the public will demand answers to. So we ask, is this the cost of independence, or the failure of an institution to adapt to a new kind of royal reality? Whatever the answer, it is clear that the lines around protection are no longer solid. They are porous. And into those spaces step risk, speculation, and the weight of unresolved history. As for Harry, he continues his life abroad. He makes appearances. He tells his story. But when he returns home, when he walks streets once guarded, visits buildings once secure, he does so in a different world. And now we've seen how close danger can get. We'll continue watching. If you care about the shifting boundaries of royalty, about how duty, protection, and identity intersect in this evolving monarchy, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay with us here on